Hey y'all, it's Dee Dee. So today we're going to be doing a little bit of a talk about the projects that I've been working on for the past few weeks, months, just however long. Some of these projects I've been going on for a little bit, but some of them may be like long-term projects. I do also have exciting news that I'm going to be sharing as well. Um, so I'm just going to dive right into it for the projects. I've been working a little bit more with the Red Heart Super Saver Jumbo Speckle. In my past video, I think if y'all haven't seen it, I'm going to show y'all. I made a little bitty sweater for my skeleton that I got at the at-home store. And I made a mistake on it of not sewing it onto the skeleton. But this will be instead a little ornament for the Christmas tree. It still looks really cute. And I'm loving how it's turning out for these projects. Personally, like I said in my review for this yarn, I'm using it more for like Christmas ornaments and projects where structure is necessary or desired, like amigurumi, or just like Christmas decor. I'm also working on this is the little bottom of it right here. Just show y'all so y'all can see. This is the bottom of a Christmas stocking ornament. The pattern that I'm using was from Crochet Nails magazine from Christmas, not either last year or the year before. I think it was the year before. Yeah, it was definitely one of their issues in the winter of 2021. But that's the pattern I'm using. I'm using like just regular Red Heart Super Saver in white from their Ogo, and then the speckle for the color portion. I think it's turning out really well. I have my little stitch marker there. It's a pizza. It's very cute. So that one I'm making. I think it had a recommended hook size. I generally kind of do my own thing when it comes to those. I'm using a 4mm for that, so I'm gonna put this project to the side. It's coming along nicely. I've made little stockings like this before. And I know it's a little early to be thinking about Christmas ornaments. I just needed like a quick project just to test it out, see how it's going. It really looks really nice crocheted up. Okay, so that one is that. Also, another little testy project that I did. This one right here, it's just a square, but I've been seeing Red Heart Super Savers. I don't remember the name for the pattern, but it's on their main site for your inspirations. Where they have the hearts. It's like a bunch of little granny square hearts, and I like how it turned out. I just don't know if I'll want to do that many squares because of the either yarn changing or holding the yarn throughout that's required. It looks really cute. I just used some scrap yarn. I think it was the orangey one is from the Dollar Tree. It's their Just yarn from Premier. And then I think, if I'm not mistaken, this gray one is Hobby Lobby's I Love This Yarn. Like I said, it makes a great little heart, and it's very cute for the squares. I don't know if I'm actually going to do the blanket. That's kind of why I did like a mock-up square with some scrap yarn, just to see how I'd like it. Like I said, it's really cute. Just don't know if I like all the effort that's required for it. So that's a big thing about projects. Like, do you want to do the effort of making that many little squares? Speaking of blankets, I have two that I'm working on right now. The first one that I'm going to show you is slightly inspired by Alt Knots in her 100 Nights of Fiber Frights. Her blanket crochet along that she's doing is more of solid granny squares, whereas the ones I'm doing are more of just traditional ones with like the open space mesh. So I've gotten a little bit more done. I have got more done. I've finished 3 rows of the style that I'm doing. So each night before Halloween, starting with 100 days before Halloween, we've been crocheting a square. I have not been crocheting a square every day like I'm supposed to. Some days I did more. Some days, a lot of days I didn't do very many. I've got a good bit to do. I think I have a few more squares than this. This is 30 squares, which for what I've been doing, I've been using the for the colors, for the green and the pink, I've been using I Love This yarn from Hobby Lobby, which is, I have a skein of it right here. So I've been using this one. Limelight is the green, and I think I used the neon version of the pink, and I think it was just called bright pink or some sort of pink. But I think it's the brightest pink that they have. Then I've been using for the gray Red Heart Super Saver, and I've also been using the Super Saver in the Ogo, which I have here. I don't have the label, but I have the Ogo for the black, just for the border. I'm also going to be incorporating a blue. I'm just doing kind of, as you saw with the stripes, the way I've been doing them. I've been doing squares within a square. So this is one end of the blanket where I have a border row for these, and then border for these. So it's just making like a square. It's very big, which I like. It's big enough to go around me. And then some. So I've been using a J-hook to get the kind of size I need, and for I've been also using the crochet join as you go method that I learned from HG Designs Crochet. For the squares themselves, before I attach the border, I just work 5 rounds of the granny stitch for each square, and then with the 6th row being the border around them. So it's going pretty well. I'm hoping to get more of it done. I'm very hopeful to get it done by Halloween. If not, I'll be okay with it. But that being said, I'm going to set this one to the side. It's going really well for that one. I have another project. I have so much going on, y'all. Of a blanket. This one I'm using the Caron anniversary cakes, which I got last weekend at Michael's. So the Caron cakes have a lot of yardage, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, one of these should be enough. I'm making the log jam blanket from Ron Strong's website, for his blog. For his, I think he used the Hue and Me yarn from Lion Brand, which when I did the calculations for how much yardage, based on how much is in each skein for the ones he used, I believe it was about almost the same amount that's in the skein right here. So I should have enough to finish the project. So it's for the log jam throw that that Ron Strong created. It's a basket weave construction with like repeating row sections. So it's like front post and double post alternating to kind of give it those squares with some chains throughout. It's a very good pattern. I don't remember the exact link for it, but it's Ron Strong was the designer for this one, and it's a really cute pattern. I've been wanting to make it for a while. I've just have not had chunky yarn to make it. So this one's going really well. I'm really liking the texture and the weight of it. It's very squishy and plush for the anniversary cakes, which I'm really glad that they brought back, because when they had them last year, I thought that they were a one and done, and I was like so excited when I saw them both in stores and through y'all lovely people on YouTube posting those. That brought me so much joy to see that they were bringing it back and doing more colors with it too. I'm liking that, with the stripes. And this one that I've got, I believe it's called Rain. So this one's called Rain, and I think I've just in the row that I'm on now, I've just got to the white section. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to like the way it does for changing color in the middle of the square sections. I'm not sure if I like that much, but we will keep working on that and see how it goes. And hopefully I will love it, because it's so far going really good so far. The next thing I have, this is actually a test project that I finished. I want to say I finished it earlier in the week, maybe last week. No, I believe it was, earlier in this week, the weekend. So I'd finally finished the stitches and whatnot. This is the Stormy Skies. I believe that's what's called Stormy Skies top. Um, I will get y'all the exact name. I have it pulled up here. From Manatee Squares. She's a great designer. I've tested a lot of her patterns over the years, and she does really phenomenal stuff with her projects. So, let me get this back to where I need it to be. Um, so, it is the Stormy Skies top. And I did the 4X. It's a top-down construction. So what that means is you start at the top right here, and you increase throughout, eventually separating the body and the sleeves. Now these sleeves, weren't like a lot of rows for them, which is fine. A lot of times with the sleeves, the way the yoke of the sweater is constructed kind of gives you some length for it, so it's not like all the way up on your collarbone almost. But this one's really cute. I used the Lion brand mandala yarn, or mandala. I'm not sure if I'm mispronouncing it. But for this one, I used two skeins. But I used, technically, you'll probably need three if you use the regular mandala. Because I had a bonus bundle, which is like double the amount of yarn in a skein. So I used that for the body and for like most of it. Like, if you're making this pattern in a 3X or smaller, you could probably get away with just one of the bonus bundle yarns. But yes, this is really cute top. I love how it turned out. It did really cute. So I did learn a new stitch for it, the crab stitch, which that was kind of difficult. It was kind of difficult, but it was so worth it because it kind of cinches it up at the bottom, gives it a nice finish without, being too tight. So, but I love the little bobbles throughout, and it turned out so well, y'all. It really did. Now, for me, I had to use a different crochet hook than recommended, which that's something I always have to do because my gauge is very tight when it comes to crochet and very loose when it comes to knitting. It's strange, but there's reasons for that. But I use a 0.5 millimeter hook, whereas it recommends a 4 millimeter hook. But it turned out really well, y'all. Like I said, if y'all need a mid-fall summery top, this one is great. I'm really excited to see a lot of more of her designs from her, because I know she has another design coming out soon. I believe it's another top-down one, which that one is one of those designs I really like, because with the top-down, you don't have to worry about seaming as much, which seaming isn't that bad. But it's a long process. It's a long process. But, so this one, as I mentioned, Stormy Skies top by Manatee Squares. And it turned out really well. I used the shade, I think it was called Spirit, for the mandala yarn. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, the amount required was just shy of 1,500 yards for the 4X. So, and I do plan on putting more photos of this one on Instagram, like worn photos of me wearing this, so y'all can see how it looks a little bit better. I'm just going to kind of show y'all as well. But phenomenal pattern. Turned out really nice. I think I have a few more items. I think maybe one or two. I think it was just one more that I had. Oh, yeah, that's right. I had one more that I was going to show you, and then I had some exciting news that's slightly related to what I have to show you. So, most of those are crochet, and lately I've been working on, like, crochet projects. I do also have a knit project that I haven't shown y'all that I've been working on. That's a test project that I have not finished yet. As I've mentioned on my post, my views on, posting about test projects, I don't like to post about it until the designer's finished designing it and has the pattern out. That's just my personal opinion about it. So, anyway, so I do have one knitting project that I am working on that I can show y'all. So this is just a vanilla sock pattern from Ravelry. Let me find the I'm trying to remember. I think it was like somebody named Christy had designed it. Let me pull it up real quick, y'all. Sorry. But this is done in the Hobie Disco Socks yarn. It's a very, very vibrant green. I don't think the camera is picking up just how vibrantly lime green it is. It is phenomenal. If I'm not mistaken, this Silly Socks Disco comes in a very, very, very bright shades. They are so bright. They're like neon shades. There's like a orange, a yellow neon, basically like highlighter colors. Think highlighter colors. So this one right here, very hard to pick up in the camera, but it's a highlighter green. So I think I'm using a 2.5 millimeter. I'm trying to find the pattern for y'all so I can tell y'all a little bit more about the pattern. It's just a basic vanilla socks is what it's called. Vanilla. Vanilla socks. Alright, let me find who designed this pattern. There's a lot of quote-unquote vanilla socks on Ravelry and available online for free patterns. I am trying to find the ones that are in my library so I can tell y'all all about them. Okay, I've made these. Okay, so that's right. They're the vanilla frosting. I knew it was a different name rather than just plain vanilla. I've made these before. The last time I made them, I used the Premier yarns in their dragon fruit colorway for their fruit yarn, and they turned out phenomenal. So I thought this time, why not just try to use regular wool sock yarn. So I haven't got very far, but I've got the cuff, which I have, and I've separated for the heel, which I have some stitches on the holder right here. And then the rest are here. It's a really good basic sock pattern. It takes a while to knit up socks, so these are some of my long-term patterns usually that I have working on long-term projects. The designer is Christy Houghton. I believe I might have pronounced that wrong. But she has a few other vanilla type patterns, which just mean like basic sock patterns, which are really good for if you're using variegated yarn and you want the yarn to stand out rather than the pattern. Because some patterns, if you use a variegated yarn with, can get kind of washed out a little bit. It's like you don't know which one's standing out more. But I've noticed if I do cables with a variegated pattern, I don't see the structure as much because there's so much color going on and color changes. That brings me to another thing. So, if y'all wanted more information about this Silly Socks Disco yarn, it is from Hobie. And I got it, I want to say last year or so. I got 2 skeins of the green that I have here, which, on Hobie skeins, they don't really put the color name, they put the numbers, which is totally fine. But they have a cute little pattern of disco socks on there. It's so cute. And not a pattern, it's a picture. My bad, y'all. But this brings me to something cool, y'all. I have some projects that I'm going to be working on later on. And the reason they're later projects is this morning, as we are talking, which is September 15th, I found Hobie. My bad, Hobie. Y'all forgive me. They have Halloween yarn out now, which they've done last year. And I was super sad because I was too broke to afford it last year. Like, I really was. And when I could finally afford it, it had sold out. I was devastated. So this year, I allowed myself to splurge and get some of their sock yarns that they have. They had these last year too, and they have a bunch of other projects as well. I'm going to go through my order. I got, I think, 4 different colors. And of those 4 different colors, they have a version that's just the yarn itself in its variegated colors. And then they have a version of that same color with glitter throughout. So I got like one of each of those. So about 8 skeins of their Halloween yarn, which they do have some other Halloween yarns. They have some Twister. Y'all just check it out. It's HOBBII.com. They have a lot of good stuff. Even when they don't have their Halloween stuff, they've got a lot of good stuff. And I also got some of their Mars and Jupiter sock yarn as well. Since I was like, well, why not? I'm ordering something. Might as well, you know. It's something I'd been eyeing for a while, but didn't want to order because the way they have their shipping set up, if you're in the U.S., because their company's in Denmark, if you ship to the U.S., you have to pay like $10 shipping, which isn't that bad. It really isn't. But usually I'll base the fact of, do I want to buy this much yarn? Like, do I want to buy a skein of yarn that's $3.70, which is how much the Jupiter sock yarn was, and then have to pay $10 to ship? Usually I don't. So that's why sometimes I'll wait till I have a larger order and just add those items that I've been wanting to get to that order. So I did also order some of their basics aluminum double pointed needles. I have double pointed needles, but they were like $4, and I was like, I could always use those. I also went in their point store because if you shop on Hobie a lot, they have a reward system or rewards program where you can use points to purchase items in the store. I picked up, I'm trying to find it on this page. Where is it at? Okay. So I did get a Silly Socks Flower Pop Mini in the Thumbergina shade, which is like a orange and purpley one, kind of to imitate flowers. It's roughly half the size of this one, which this skein right here is, let me see, so this one right here is 437 yards. So the Silly Socks mini that I got from the Hobie point store is about half this size. But I've made little short ankle socks. The mini size that I've ordered is roughly the same amount I used to make socks, and I had a little bit left over, so they'll make ankle socks just fine. So, and that's the socks I usually make. I don't like the ones that go all the way up to the cuff. That's just like a personal preference. Now, sometimes I will make those either for other people, or if it's like a pattern that you kind of can't do that, because there's some patterns I've seen, like there's one for Stardew Valley I saw recently, where if you take out a few of those rows, you don't get the whole pattern. So I probably either would not make those or would make them for somebody else, but very cute nonetheless. So I think that's all I have for y'all today. Thank y'all for watching. If y'all like this content, feel free to like, subscribe. Shoot me a comment if you have anything interesting going on, or if you are excited about the Hobie Halloween yarns as well. I did neglect to mention, one thing I neglected to mention, because it's a little early for it, they have their Christmas yarn out. And as much as I love Hobie, I think it was a little too early to put Christmas yarn out before they had their Halloween yarn out. And it worried me for a little bit, because I thought that meant they weren't going to put Halloween yarn out. I got kind of scared, y'all. But they do have their advent calendars out again this year. I think those are like 111. And before I ramble on, let me end this video. Y'all. But if y'all need any cool yarn, like for sock yarn or just any yarn in general, Hobie is a great brand, and they have like a lot of cool stuff. So thank y'all for watching, and I hope y'all have a great day. Bye.